So this new fucking stadium opened up and Dana cannot fucking edge us any harder, right? He's hyping us up. He's saying how historical this UFC Sphere is gonna be, right? I get it. Las Vegas Sphere, right? If you've taken a look at what it looks like, it's more like a theater, you know, where the audience is facing one direction, you know. It's not the typical, I would say, 360 stadium approach that we normally see in these UFC events, right? Alright, it's gonna be historical. There's gonna be a lot of highlights. At least that's what they would expect. But why would you limit it? Why would you limit something so historical to a, you know, to a certain niche, right? Why don't you make it open to, you know, the entirety of the UFC fan base? You know, people from across the world. You know, put Alex Pereira in there. You know, people from like, you know, even put Zhang Weili. You know, put some like representative from Asia. Put some Australians out there. You know, the point is, why would you put only a certain group of people and limit the possibilities of what it could have been? You know, for something so historical, why would you limit yourself by putting just a niche of people? Why? You know, I get it. Like UFC Noche, I get it. But it could have been anything else. Why would they put it in the UFC Sphere, right? The UFC Noche could have been literally anything else. You know, 307, 309, 310. You get the point, right? UFC Sphere should be something historical, something monumental, you know, something that covers a wide variety of backgrounds, you know, different perspective, cultural norms. You know, the point is, it should be about everyone. You know, it should be, you know, fighters from all across the world. You know, people from, you know, Asia, you know, Africa, you know, North America, South America, you know, Europe. Just the point is, not just limited to a, you know, a niche group of people, considering how historical the event will be. You know, I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere that Dana said that there will only be 10 fights in the UFC Sphere, right? $3,000 is the cheapest ticket to attend, you know, the fight, right? And this is what he drops. This is what he drops, right? Fair enough, right? Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili, right? Good fight. Great fight, right? Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko. Another solid fight, right? But then other than that, let's be real, it kind of just falls off. You know? I feel like the UFC Sphere should be something bigger. Way bigger than this, you know? And like, this shit is so fucking lackluster as no one, and I feel like no one's talking about it, right? Brian Ortega, Diego Lopez, great fight. But it's a rebook. It's essentially a rebook, you know? No one's really that excited anymore. Like, so right? What if Diego Lopez wins, right? So what? Well, he gets a title shot in versus Illia or Max, right? And loses, right? Let's be real, he's not beating either of them, right? It's fucking boring, right? Raul Rosas Jr. versus fucking who? My dad? My dad? What the fuck? Who's this? We got Irina Dana versus the number fucking 10th ranked. You know, last time I checked, she was fighting for the, you know, the championship, wasn't she? Right? And now she's fighting people 10 ranks down her. Like, what the fuck's going on? Really? How is this historical? What's historical about this? You know? No, I'm sure by all means, if this wasn't, you know, attached to the UFC Sphere, you know, if this was a normal pay-per-view card, right? This would be a solid, you know, mid card. Quite frankly, it would be a 6 out of 10 card, right? Fairly stacked, right? But not too stacked, you know what I mean? It will just, you know, it will pass. It will pass as a, you know, a good pay-per-view card, right? But it's not. It's not a normal pay-per-view card, you know? It's a fucking $3,000 seat type card, you know? Jesus. So all in all, this got me thinking, right? Can I make a better UFC Sphere card, right? You know, I'm not gonna, you know, include the niche, you know, of, you know, the Noche niche, right? I'm gonna include everyone, you know, from all across the world, right? Can I make a better card? Right? A card that sells pay-per-views, right? A card that sells potentially over 1 million pay-per-views, right? And guess what? I'm not gonna include anybody. I mean anybody from the UFC Noche, you know, list, right? You see, Sean O'Malley versus Merab, good fight. That will sell pay-per-views, but I won't include that. I won't include it. You know, Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko. I'm pretty sure this is the, you know, the WMMA, you know, fight that will sell the most pay-per-views at the moment, right? But I won't include that. You know, I will make another, you know, WMMA fight that will, you know, do just as well, right? So here's my list. All right, headlining the UFC Sphere should be Max Holloway versus Illia Topuria, right? Yeah, I get it. This fight is in the makings right now. but it's not officially announced. Therefore, I'm gonna include it. Right? Max Holloway versus Illia Topuria. I'm pretty sure this fight alone could possibly sell 600, 700,000 upwards pay-per-views, right? The most exciting fucking fight you could possibly make, right? Stylistically, you know, it's almost guaranteed that they will stand and bang, you know. Stand and bang, for real, bro. Right? Max Holloway, self-proclaimed best boxer in the UFC, right? Illia Topuria, self-proclaimed best boxer in the UFC, right? Who the fuck doesn't want to see that, right? It is guaranteed you're gonna get a highlight out of these two, right? Potentially a finish, right? It's exciting. Just thinking about it fucking gives me like goosebumps, right? Who the fuck doesn't want to see this, right? Like, this fight will happen, and it will happen soon. Why not put on, you know, UFC Sphere, something so historical, monumental, something that will get, you know, fucking reactions, right? This will get interactions online, you know. The nature of it just being the UFC Sphere, right? And the nature that these two, you know, standing and banging each other, right? Sounds fucking weird, but essentially that's what they're doing, you know. They're not gonna shoot takedowns, right? I mean, when has Max had a boring fight, you know? When has Max ever had a boring fight? When has Illia had a boring fight, you know? These are all fucking killers, you know? They go for finishes, right? You know, I'm tired of the UFC having, you know, having to cut people just because they have a boring style, you know? Just because they have a style that doesn't, you know, sell pay-per-views, right? Did a Manel Cap and Muhammad Mukayev, right, get cut from the UFC a couple days ago, right? Why? Why did they get cut? For having their own style? Just a boring style, right? That doesn't sell pay-per-views, you know. They don't see them as valuable anymore because they're, you know, they're frankly just boring, right? Fair enough. It's a business. Fair enough. But then why don't you make Max Holloway and Illia Topuria in the Sphere, you know? That will fucking promote UFC to the next level, right? This will sell pay-per-views, you know. This will, you know, bring new eyes, you know, new fans to the sport, you know. Why didn't they do that? They make this fucking mid-ass fucking, you know, card on something so historical. Why don't they actually fucking try, right? Max Holloway, Illia Topuria as the headliner for the UFC Sphere is what they should have done. Simply said. That's what they should have done. Alright, for the co-main event, I got Robert Whittaker versus Sean Strickland. Yeah, like I said, bro, I'm making this shit stacked, right? Considering there's only 10 spots for this, you know, historical event, why wouldn't you want to make it stacked? Why wouldn't you, right? You know, an event so historical with limited spots, right? Why won't you want to make it stacked, right? So, therefore, I have Robert Whittaker versus Sean Strickland as the co-main event, right? Yeah, I believe this is the fight which decides who's going to be next up in line for the middleweight belt. You know, I'm sick and tired of Sean Strickland, you know, saying, oh, I'm next, right? We get it. You went to a split decision against Dricus du Plessis, right? Fair enough. But then you beat Paulo Costa and all of a sudden you want a title rematch, right? Paulo Costa. Are we just going to act like beating Paulo Costa all of a sudden gives you the, you know, the opportunity to go and fight for the belt again? Paulo Costa? Are you serious? What is he ranked now? What? 7? 8? 9? Fuck, 10? Seriously, what is he ranked, right? Same with Robert Whittaker, right? He beat Paulo Costa, fair enough, right? It was a good match, right? It was clear for Robert Whittaker, a clear win, right? Fair enough. But then he goes on to beat Ikram, right? An unranked fighter. And all of a sudden, he's next in line? Oh, what is this? Beating Paulo Costa all of a sudden means that you're next in line for the title shot again? What is this? If I'm pretty sure, Cannonier is more deserving of a title shot than anyone else, you know, despite his loss. I still think he's more deserving than Sean Strickland, Robert Whittaker, right? What the fuck is this, huh? What if Cannonier won? What, is he all of a sudden next in line, right? But he didn't beat Paulo Costa. What, is he back in line? Right? So I feel like this fight, Sean Strickland, Robert Whittaker, probably the most anticipated, you know, non-title fucking fight you can possibly make at the moment, right? Robert Whittaker versus Sean Strickland should be next. You know, most anticipated non-title fight you could possibly make. Other than Yuri Prochazka versus Jamal Hill, right? I was thinking, right, should this be the co-main or Robert Whittaker versus Sean Strickland, right? But I feel like the Whittaker and Sean Strickland fight is a little bit more hyped, you know what I mean? Right? Yuri Prochazka versus Hill. Two former champions, right? Two two of Alex's Pereira's son, right? I'm joking, right? They're great fighters, right? You know, the reason why I put them on this card is the same reason why I put Max and Topuria on this card, right? There's going to be highlights. There will be finishes. You know, people forget that Yuri was a knockout artist. You know, Jamal Hill was a knockout artist as well, you know, until they met Alex Pereira, right? You know, people forget that they do have pretty good ground games as well, right? I wouldn't be surprised if Yuri, you know, Prochazka takes Hill to the ground and then submits him, right? Or vice versa, right? Regardless, there will be a finish, right? I don't see it going the distance, right? Hill versus Jerry is an exciting matchup as it gets. Almost as exciting as Whittaker versus Sean Strickland. You know, for some reason, I feel like Whittaker versus Sean Strickland, there might be a chance there might be a fucking stinkfest, right? Putting Yuri and Hill before that, you know, kind of just evens things up. Because we all know Yuri is a fucking exciting fighter, right? Hill is an exciting fighter, right? It's guaranteed war. So that being said, Yuri versus Hill, two former champions, 100% going to be a finish. Next up, Whittaker versus Sean Strickland. Might be a stinkfest, but regardless, an anticipated fight, right? Even if it's a stinkfest, right, we still got Max Holloway versus Illia Topuria coming up, right? Guaranteed fucking war. Alright, next up is gonna be a WMMA fight. Hear me out. Kayla Harrison versus Juliana Pena. I feel like that's the most exciting WMMA fight that you can possibly make, regardless, you know, minusing fucking Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko. We got two people that can speak English, right? Two people that love to shit talk, right? Who doesn't want to see that in the press conference? It's gonna be fucking crazy, right? Harrison versus Pena. You know, Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison is as exciting as it gets, in my opinion, right? In terms of WMMA, it's the most exciting fight you could possibly make. Period. Right, in terms of press conference, right, they're gonna go fucking ham together. You know, they're both shit talkers, right? Essentially, they're both shit talkers, right? And if they're fighting, you know, will do well as well. You know, I don't think it'll be boring, right? They're both great grapplers, right? Fucking didn't Juliana Pena submit Amanda Nunes, right? Kayla Harrison, you know, did well against Holly Holm, you know, who's a solid fighter. You know, granted that she is quite old right now. Still, Kayla Harrison versus Juliana Pena for the title eliminator, right? We need this. This is what the UFC needs, right? Kayla Harrison versus Juliana Pena, right? Whoever wins this will have a decent amount of star power, in which, you know, wouldn't be a bad idea if a WMMA or even a WMMA, you know, match would be the headliner of a, you know, UFC event, right? We got Pennington as a bantamweight fucking champion, right? Whoever wins this exchange between Harrison and Pena, you know, will go on to challenge Pennington, you know, and I feel like it will do well. It will sell a decent amount of pay-per-views, right? Because they're both fucking good at what they do, right? Pena is a great shit talker. Kayla Harrison is just as great, right? They're both great fighters as well, right? They're not boring fighters. They either make someone the punching bag or is the punching bag, right? And they need this more than anything, right? What, we're just gonna give fucking Juliana Pena another fucking title shot after losing against Amanda Nunes in a fucking landslide, right? What the fuck is this, bro? We're just giving out fucking pity points at this moment? Kayla Harrison, right, doesn't really deserve the title shot at the moment. She beat like Holly Holm, right? Who's literally not the same as the Holly Holm we seen fucking 10 years ago. You know, right? They both need this fight. And I feel like this fight will spice up the bantamweight division, you know, highly, right? Because what happens after this? Whoever wins this will challenge the, you know, the champion of the world, which is Pennington, right? They both have star power, right? Pena has decent star power. Harrison is gonna have decent star power as well. It's gonna be, you know, an exceptional co-main event for any UFC event in the future, right? To slap down a fucking Pena or Harrison versus Pennington in the co-main events, and, you know, no one's gonna complain. Alright, next up, this is gonna catch people by surprise, but I have Jose Aldo versus Davison Figueiredo, right? Aldo versus Figgy. Two of my favorite fighters, right? We got the former featherweight champion, you know, arguably the second greatest featherweight champions of all time, right? Jose Aldo versus arguably the second best flyweight champion of all time, Davison Figueiredo, you know, Figgy, right? Head to head at 135 for the fucking bantamweight title shot, right? How exciting is that? How fucking exciting is that? And the build up with that is fucking insane, Jay. We got Jose Aldo coming back, you know, his Amazing win against Jonathan Martinez, who is no bum, right? Jonathan Martinez is a fucking solid fucking fighter, right? So we got Deiveson Figueiredo, right? How are you telling me a champion from a lower division going up, right? Beating Rob Font, beating Cody Garbrandt, you know, and still not getting a title shot. A former champion doesn't have to fight 3 times just to get another title shot in a higher division, right? That's just not fair. I believe Deiveson Figueiredo, you know, versus Jose Aldo is the fight to make for the next bantamweight title shot, right? I mean, who's really next in line? I mean, you got Sanhagen versus Umar, right? Umar Nurmagomedov, right? Whoever wins that is arguably next for line, right? But come on, man. Come on, are you serious? I feel like Sanhagen is deserving, but come on. If Umar beats Sanhagen, right? He's gonna get a title shot? What is this fucking... Like, we're just handing out title shots at the moment? Like, we're not handing out title shots for free, my guy. Who has Umar beaten that is ranked? Think about it. Really, think about it. Why? Is he gonna be a one top 5 and all of a sudden he's gonna get a title shot, right? I hate this shit. I really do hate this shit, right? I feel like Figgy versus Jose Aldo is the fight to make, man. A former flyweight champion versus a former featherweight champion with only bantamweight separating them. That's fucking crazy, right? The opportunity to earn the title of a 2-division, you know, champion, you know, the title of a 2-division champion, right? When's the last time you seen that? When the fuck is the last time you've seen 2 fucking former champions from 2 weight class in which bantamweight separated them from? Fight. Go hand to hand in bantamweight for the opportunity to become a 2-division champion. When is the last time you've seen that, right? When the fuck is the last time you've seen that? This should be fucking promoted more, right? And as the opener for something so historical like a, you know, UFC Sphere, right? It's fucking crazy, right? This needs more promotion, right? Aldo versus Figgy is the fight to make. It's a historical fight to make for something historical such as UFC Sphere. Easy said. Easy said. Alright, to summarize, I got Max Holloway versus Illia Topuria as the main event. Right? We got Robert Whittaker versus Sean Strickland as the co-main event. Also, we got Yuri Prochazka versus Jamal Hill, Kayla Harrison versus Juliana Pena, as well as Jose Aldo versus Deiveson Figueiredo as the opener. Like, I get it. I get it, right? This is fucking stacked, right? But it should be stacked. It should be stacked, right? Granted, right? There's 5 more spots, which I didn't, you know, come up with, right? But the blueprint is already there. This is the blueprint, right? You can literally add 5 any other fighters, right? 5 fucking random fighter, it wouldn't even matter, right? This is the blueprint, right? Max versus Topuria, Whittaker, Sean Strickland, Yuri versus Hill, Harrison versus Pena, Aldo versus Figgy. This is what UFC fans wanted. This is what is meant to happen, right? This is what is historical. When Dana White said historical, this is what I thought. This is what I thought, right? But it turned out to be false. So you know what? I decided to make my own reality, right? And this is the reality that I'm gonna make, right? I get it. Whittaker versus Sean Strickland will happen eventually. You know, Max Holloway versus Topuria will happen eventually. You know, Yuri versus Hill might even happen eventually, right? But please make Aldo versus Figgy. We need to see that, right? Harrison versus Pena is a must, right? We need to see that, bro. Bro, WMMA is fucking dead, right? Harrison versus Pena is the fight to fucking make. It is bunk bed MMA. And it was nice yapping. Thank you.